I checked out a game called the Midnight Murder Club, which is a PvP murder in the dark game that's on PC and P.
Is that you, Peter?
Excuse me?
I said, is that you, Peter?
Is that you, Peter?
Yeah, you're playing one of these fucking midnight murder games.
That's true. I've now taken.
Give me the single and Gus can talk.
There it is. Please don't. I have taken on the mantle of playing these new... I mean, this is actually less of a Peter game because it's more to do with killing your friends and not working together with them. And it turns out I'm better at killing my friends. Midnight Murder Club is a PvP game set in an old spooky mansion where you and your teammates are equipped with a torch and a pistol, and that's about it. You both run around in pitch black, and the idea being is that in the basic game mode, your goal is to rack up kills and to avoid your friends using proxy voice chat and hiding in the dark. It's a simple concept, and it works brilliantly well. There's an amazing level of tension hiding in the dark and realizing that your location is given up the second you fire your pistol, based both off a muzzle flash, but also a tracer in a certain color that shows people where you've shot from, and so suddenly chaos erupts. The proxy voice is a huge player in this, both in giving away your location and hearing the screams of people in this very large single map in the game as you run around between rooms. There's a light story of kind of a cultish sort of like you're being not indoctrinated, you're being initiated into a club where they all wear spooky masks, and there's probably weird sex stuff and hall passes happening. But for now, it's just a murder game. And I jumped on and played this both just as a casual game, but also on the Monday stream, and played with a bunch of back pocket tiers. And we had a hoot playing a couple of the game modes. First and foremost, just the free-for-all is brilliant. Great way to get started. There's a team mode where obviously you play in teams of two. There is a very, I guess, like ambitious... what would you call it, Nick? You played some of this with me.
Yep.
It was sort of like a gain, collect golden skulls and cash them in.
Yep.
So there's it's just not a tacked on mode. There's one where at the start of the round, you and your teammate have to open safes marked with a 1 and collect parts of a golden skull. If you combine them together, you cash them in for more. After a certain amount of time, three safes are open around the map, and you are treated to Claire de Lune. Suddenly plays, which is like wonderfully haunting.
Especially because everyone has guns and is running towards all the bolts together.
It's wild.
Brilliant.
It kind of has this like throwback to Ocean's 11 meets kind of like a weird sick murder movie. And you cash them in, and then you move on to open the boxes marked 2 and 3 accordingly as the safes open each time. There's a mode where one of you is a devil in a devil's mask who has night vision and everyone else doesn't, and it's 1 versus I think it was 1 versus 4 at one point, and they have to destroy totems and using just the regular torches and the pistols, and one person is running around with night vision and a voice modifier that makes them sound like the devil. So they're running around with glowing red eyes, and
which I did not realize the first time we played.
It was fantastic.
So you were pretending you're playing it cool?
Yeah, no, I was just like running around being like, guys, stop destroying my totems.
But it came through, it's like, guys, stop destroying my totems.
And it wasn't until we played it again, and I think Gus was the murderer, that I heard the voice filter for the first time, and I was like, I would have sounded like such a fucking idiot.
No, it sounded great.
Guys.
And it's the other team's goal to destroy a bunch of things around the totem. And then finally, there's a mode in there they've chucked in, which is an experimental card game where everyone picks up card modifiers for the round and plays them before each game. And they include things like big head mode, bodies explode like flashbangs on death, everyone drops a bear trap when they die.
Is that kind of like Frag Punk?
Look, I guess it kind of is, but better because you all are in a lobby playing these cards at the start thinking like, you're basically, someone plays a card and you're like, well, I'm going to fuck you up playing my card. But it is chaos. It is an experimental mode. And
stand still and you catch fire. Like
it's amazing. Which when comboed with standing in a bear trap, you're bound to burst into fire. And then add the everyone bursts into a light when they die. You stand in a bear trap, you catch on fire, and then you go off like a flashbang. So they are playing around with how those modifiers work. And that led to probably the biggest lols and the best fun in the game. But again, at its core, this game, if you just played the free-for-all with some friends in the dark, the sound design, the map design, which you could argue is probably a bit too big, but I think that's what leads to the tension of hiding in the dark and hearing things in the distance. We all talked about potentially being like, oh, maybe there should be a smaller map with more of us, but you just end up with a kind of moment-to-moment shooter like a COD or something where you're just all firing for the hell of it. Here you are all hiding and using your voice to stalk people, and it's amazing what it adds to the tension of just a competitive shooter.
Did it feel like you were playing like a Warzone-y kind of like extraction game?
No,
in any sense?
No, it just felt more thought out than we originally thought when we started the other modes, because we considered that we thought that the free-for-all was what they put all their eggs in that basket, so everything else here is a bonus. But that, this extraction mode, I guess what you'd call it, the fact that it had timed safes, 3 stages of safes, combining the loot, not quite that plunder from Warzone level, but just interesting that they put some thought into it. We found out that the developers of this, Velan Studios, they have the most interesting track record of game development. The game they made before this one, or at least the nearest game they've made before this,
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Mario Kart IRL, the camera on the
Mario Kart.
Oh, cool.
They made that. They've made this. There was another one
They
in
did
the
a
catalog.
game for MetaQuest, and then they did an iOS game before that. And
my
it's
God.
like, the
The developers
crazy.
are just clearly like, we have an idea or we know someone we want to work with. And this definitely feels like high-end game jam. Like it feels like an idea that they've gone, yes, what can we add to that? I really hope it does have some sort of future support in terms of adding more game modes and stuff, because the
they
core
did
of
Knockout
this.
City?
Yes,
Yes.
Knockout City.
And
That's
Knockout
right.
City.
The
And
dodge-
that game
the dodgeball game.
rocked.
Yeah,
So
that
just-
game rocked.
Yeah,
That's so
just
cool.
like obviously they've got some good pedigree in competitive gaming and balancing it and that kind of thing. Whereas
Interesting.
again, I wouldn't call this competitive, but it is just a really fun like a couple of sessions with mates. I would say maybe a little bit more than some of the lethal likes that you've played, in the sense that you can just jump in. I haven't played a public match yet. I've only played with mates who I know that we can talk to.
Yeah.
I wonder what the community's like if you jump in there and start hurling abuse in the dark, because I think the guys of being in the dark and just going like, fuck you! It's funny when it's mates. I don't know what that kind of like translates to playing with randoms, but it is an option there. So yeah, and the last thing I'll say about this, which is fantastic, is that this game is currently available for, I think like in its $20-25. If you have a copy of the game, there is a guest pass version available. You can play with up to 6 people in a match, and so all you need is one person to own a copy of the game. If the other 5 remaining people have a guest pass, they can come in and play for free, which is a model of multiplayer gaming that I just think is fantastic. It's the right model that like brings people in who are cautious or don't know if they want to play a game or put money behind a game like this, and hopefully it pays off in the future for them to say, yeah, I want to buy my own copy to bring in other people that I want to play with too. But yeah, it's a really fantastic way to just say one of you is going to bite the bullet and pay $25, which is not much for a game that has enough content in it like this, and bring along some friends for a funny evening. And then, I think it's the kind of thing that will get a bit of a cult following, pun intended, because it's a cultish game.